Hello, good morning, Jeremy, or good evening to you, of course, where you are. Thank you for your time today. I know it's really tough for you, and it's not easy to get a hold of you. So I'm really appreciate that you took out some time for me. Can you please introduce yourself to the audience and say who you are, what you're doing, and maybe a little bit of your backstory, where you're coming from, and where you want to go, maybe, music wise?
Okay. My name is Jeremy Stover. I essentially am the Bedlam Battery, independent metal musician. So it's all self-produced, self-recorded, and I do all the instrumentation. Um, Music backstory: I grew up in a very musical family. My grandmother, sang gospel music in the '60s and '70s. My grandfather played. My uncle was a musician. So kind of grew up around music. So eventually made my way into music as well. As a teenager, playing in punk bands and that kind of thing. Um, and then, as life progressed on, you have to get a real job. Um, so joined the military after college. I did a little bit of college and then joined the military for a different route, and still played music for the first many years, going location to location. Usually, it's hard to get bands together as much as we move around. So I ended up doing the kind of solo acoustic route where you're not always playing the genre of music that you want to play, but
Hmm.
you're getting gigs and playing in bars or whatever. Did a lot of that. Wrote some acoustic music for a little bit, and then actually kind of stopped playing music for quite a while. Just life got in the way, and then finally, uh, kind of got back into it. Got some new instruments, bought some new toys. That kind of always gets the creativeness flowing.
Yeah, the
Um,
juices flow.
yeah, and then started writing a little bit again, and it all ended up being a lot of metal kind of stuff, which is more than half of what I listen to anyway. So that's just kind of the route I went. And my school background prior to working the job I do now, I did go to school for film and broadcast and recording.
Oh,
So I learned, yeah, I learned how to record and mix and master, but this was late '90s, early 2000s, learning analog.
hmm,
Um, so then I had to reteach myself everything about how to work in a digital space, and that's
I
just been the
see.
adventure I've been on now. So two EPs have come out under the Bedlam Battery name, and just finished sending the newest single to the distributor a few weeks back, and it comes out on April 9th.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, okay. Thank you very much for the introduction. Um, I know you or your music for a while already because I remember the first time I discovered you was you sent me something on SubmitHub, and
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of, you have to understand me. I get a lot of music through SubmitHub, of course, and so I was like, man, this is such a great song, but you recorded it so badly.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, this was the first exchange with you. Where I was like, "Oh, this is such a great song. Why did you use such bad equipment or whatever?" It sounded, muffled in a way. And then you came back to me. This is at least what I remember. We can talk about this. Um, and you said you wanted it specifically sounding like this because this is the early area of black metal recording. Like you do.
Yeah.
It's for me. It sounded like when I grew up in my punk band, we put just the tape recorder in the middle of a room and hit record, and then everyone was playing.
Right.
And so for me, I was honestly very stunned and puzzled that you and now knowing more about your background, that you specifically choose to sound like this. Um, I mean, maybe let's start with this. You have a background in production, and you said you have to learn digital new, and I get this. Um, so um, why did you do the black metal tribute recording style? Just for learning or for fun? Like a training exercise or something?
No, so it's actually purposeful, and it's not something that's extremely marketable either.
I know, because I was like, I would skip on this song, but it was
Yeah,
just too good. The essence of a song was good, but the recording was not good.
yeah. So, a lot of the music that comes out, and all the bands that I listen to these days, and whatnot, they're all, and this isn't to slight the bands at all, because these are bands that I love. But everything is just so polished, and it's so
Mhm.
pristine, and it's calculative and put together so well, and it tends to all just kind of start to sound the same.
Okay.
And even though the music's obviously different, and this band has this cool riff, and this band's doing this, and there's differences there, but it just sounds like the mixing and mastering is all just, it's all super tight, super calculated and whatnot. But then you go back and you listen to the early melodic death metal stuff. You're talking like the first couple In Flames albums, and Burzum or Mayhem or that kind of
Hmm.
black metal, and it just sounds like it was recorded in a tool shed.
Yeah, it
um,
does.
and but the thing that I love about it is that there's a rawness to it. Like it's almost as a character of that music. The music and the beat and the guitars and everything can drive you, and the lyrics can reach out to you and whatnot. But I've always just respected that atmosphere of, like, you
Hmm.
can feel the room that it's in, almost like you can, some of those early recordings, you can just hear things echoing that shouldn't have been echoing, and it just kind of adds to it. So when I set out and started recording, there was a lot of stuff that I had to, like, kind of reverse, and not. I was like, I need this to not sound polished, so I'm actually gonna, put some plugins in there that don't make sense. Really, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. You kind of disrupted the workflow, not disrupted, but you kind of, yeah. I mean, in a way, I'm completely with you, because as you know, I'm a radio DJ, so I get a lot of songs, um, and you kind of reminded me, and this is the good thing, that the song is the most important thing. What you record, the essence, the thing, and you did acoustic, so I guess you can agree on this. If you have a real good song, it should work, if either if it's just with a six-string guitar or with an orchestra or something. It's kind of, it works. The song itself, the bones of it work. But then, of
Right.
course, you flesh it out, and you kind of were a nice reminder that the music is the important thing. But I remember I was sitting, I was so I was angry at you because it was like, this is such a nice song. Why did you and later I found out, purposely made it sound not as good as it could be. But I
Yeah.
get your point, because in a way you have a niche there, because you kind of rise above all this other thing that is kind of the same level, and it's stream no, not stream aligned, how you say, click aligned or something, when they put on samples over the real drums so that it sounds more, so in a sense they all sound the same. So I'm completely with you. So you go against the crane, or it's, in German you can say swim against the stream, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but like you said, it's really hard to market. I mean, you're a self, um, a self. You did everything yourself, right?
Yeah.
You have no label or something.
Yep.
Um, maybe talk about a little, how do you market this? I mean, do we I was lucky enough to talk with you, but I guess you get just a lot of rejection there, out of the gate, without even telling you why.
A lot of folks do. I mean, and that's the thing. And like I said, it's not. and I don't want to say any of that stuff to slight those bands or any of that, because I listen to that stuff and
Hmm.
love it, all the modern music. But um, so it's just I felt that if everything that's coming out sounds like the new Architects album or the new Bring Me the Horizon album or whatever, they all have this level that they're at, and then it just all kind of bleeds together. So
Hmm.
that's why I set out to be like, I'm just gonna take it way back, and it's gonna sound to certain people, because they're so accustomed to this new super polished thing, that they're gonna think, I don't want it, or it's not gonna fit in, or whatever. And you get a lot of that. You
Hmm.
get a lot of, well, it doesn't sound great, and I don't like the way it sounds, and it's not gonna fit in with this. And it's like, that's cool, man. I'm not. I've got a few thousand listeners that kind of stick on my Spotify and whatnot, and I'm happy with that.
Hmm.
None of us are going to get rich from streaming anyway.
Yeah, no,
Um,
that's a whole nother discussion, and I get it. In a way, you are in a good position to do that because, like you just said, you don't have to live from it.
yeah.
These bands, they kind of have to kind of fulfill a certain standard and stuff. But I think also, but I mean, you are a little bit older and longer in the game. The pendulum swings in one direction and then it swings back and then, it kind of meters out. So there is always, and that's the great thing today, there is enough space for everyone. Like you just said,
Oh
you
yeah.
carved out your niche and in a way you have much more freedom than all the other bands. Not like you're exactly right. I'm not bashing on them. They just kind of do the best. They have more money and they have more resources.
Oh
So
yeah.
of course they use the best technique and what's on vogue at the moment. But
Oh yeah.
um, but this doesn't mean I like you. I also found some other. There was a band from Norway. They sounded really crappy, but it was just such a good song. So I kind of and they didn't do it on purpose. They didn't have more money. You did it on
Yeah.
purpose, uh, and so in a way, I'm thankful. I'm grateful to you to let me focus on the important things. Because the song works even if it's crappy. And in a way, you kind of when I put you in my playlist, you were outstanding because you would listen. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. And then, ooh, what's going on here? And you kind of have a wake up call. Like there's this Bach symphony where there's with a big thing, and boom, you get
Yeah.
you get hit over the head. Okay, so um, I have usually I call this a talk because I don't call it an interview because I want to have a conversation with you, but I have a silly interview question, but I'm gonna put this out of the way right away. The Bedlam Battery. Why the Bedlam Battery? Is there a reason for the name why you chose it?
So it's actually kind of based on some military slang, actually. So
Ooh,
some old,
tread
like, this
tread
is
tread carefully.
yeah. So this is like old, like World War II era kind of slang. So if you were in a company in the army at the time, and you were, the troublemakers or the misfits or whatever, they put these guys together and they'd call it the circus battery.
Mm-hmm.
So I just took that idea and I replaced circus with madness and bedlam, and that was it.
Okay, cool, cool. That's this is my show is called the Shellshocked Radio Talk, and Shellshocked is
Hmm.
kind of First World War.
Yeah.
This is post-traumatic stress disorder we would call it today, but back then you were shell shocked. In the First World War, it must be really gruesome in the trenches and bombarding all the time, and then you get kind of like crazy.
Yeah.
So that's shell shocked radio for you. Cool.
And
Um,
then even the symbol too that's behind the logo, or
yeah, I,
like
I can
the
I can
symbol
see it.
that's
Oh,
the
we can
symbol
talk
that's
about
behind the logo.
your.
That's
I see a few pictures. You got. On the other wall,
mhm.
for the viewers, for the people on the podcast, I see what's its name? For the guy from Transylvania, uh, the
Oh,
Rocky
Tim
Horror
Curry.
Picture Show. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Did
yeah.
you
That's
got it?
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry, exactly. Did you meet him?
Yeah, yeah. I got to meet him.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Unfortunately, it was after he had had his stroke. So he's in a wheelchair in the photo there. But
Okay, that's okay. I cannot. I can see the the transvestite outfit.
yeah. So
But
just next to it is actually
okay,
a
okay.
picture of me and him,
Yeah.
and then that was an autograph of Dr. Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror.
Dr. Frankenfurter. Thank you, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a while that I haven't seen it, but yeah, it's a fun movie. Yeah, and who are these other guys? Because it seems like you have a wall of fame there, and but for me, it's too far away to see all the. If you want to talk about, I mean, if you don't
Oh,
want
it's
to,
yeah. These are. I mean, a lot of these are actors and comic artists. There's a few. I mean, there's some voice actors in here too. Kevin Conroy's up there, who does the voice of the '90s Batman, the animated series.
okay.
Um, some stuff like that, and then yeah, just a lot of Mark Hamill's up there from Star Wars. Um, but my wife and I, we do some comic conventions and whatnot.
Okay, okay. Because I would,
So
yeah,
go.
this would be my next question. So how could you? Okay, so we have like a meet and greet or something, and when you're a little fanboy and going there.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Go meet all your. I mean, Lord, we probably have 15 or so more that aren't printed
I see.
and up there. So yeah, just get autographs and get to meet creative people and talk about like you know that's the interesting part of meeting those people is it's usually pretty brief. But you get a second to say, hey, I love
Hmm.
whatever you did in
Hmm.
this, and you
Yeah,
get to
and we
hear
hear it
stuff.
1,000 times, and we're like, yeah,
Yeah, but a lot of these, most all the folks that we've ever met are really generous with their time, and they'll actually give you little pieces of like, oh well, yeah, I remember doing that, and this is how we did it, and it's pretty cool. As quick as it goes, it's
Hmm.
cool,
Okay,
and you have to
cool.
pay for it. Like we're not celebrities, we're not their friends. They
Not yet. You're working on it,
yeah,
but yeah,
probably.
sometimes life gets in the way a little bit, and you have also quite some guitars there and stuff. So for the people on the podcast, yeah, I guess this is your rehearsal space you're in, or your studio.
So this is my studio rehearsal space and where I keep all my toys. Like,
Hmm.
so my wife just calls this my room. So basically, there's a lot of collectibles and stuff that just accumulates. A lot of comic books, and then tons of guitars. All my guitars are back there. My amps are back behind me here, and then we're kind of sitting at the studio space where my laptop is and my studio monitors and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, yeah. And as I got to know, because it was not easy for me to set up a talk with you, you have a very busy life. So I know you're not on liberty to talk too much about it, but you're in the military and you get deployed, or how does it work? You go on a tour, and I mean on a military tour, and be away for a few months and then come back, or what's what I'm trying to kind of find out, how much time do you have for your hobby? How much time do you really have for making music? You seem to find some time, as a new single is coming out now,
Right.
but as I'm a family person as well, and I have a job, and so I know, how do you have more like specific anyway, get you deployed for a few months and then come back, or how do you get in and out of your work?
So I mean, it varies. Every year is going to be something different. It depends on what's going on. But I'm medical by
Oh.
trade, so I
Hmm.
support
Hmm.
medicine. Um, so they'll occasionally they send a lot of our folks out on different support missions and whatever, just to provide medical support if folks get sick or this or that. My normal kind of job is 9 to 10 hours a day. 7 in the morning till 4 or 5 in the evening, most days of the week. And then you have to stay physically fit and
Hmm.
be working out, and because that's just part of the job. So you have to find time to work out, and then just everything else that gets squeezed in there. I've got wife and kids
Hmm.
and that kind of stuff, and then right now with everything going on, everything takes place at home. School's at home
Yeah.
and whatnot.
How do you
But
cope with just I don't want to talk because it comes up in all the talks, but how do you cope with that? Because I had some COVID cabin fever thing, and I kind of every day was bleeding into each other, so I kind of lost
yeah,
track on the time actually because it was is it Tuesday or is it Wednesday? Because every day was exactly the same.
yeah, for sure. And the field that I work in is laboratory medicine.
Okay,
Um, so that's where all the COVID testing is done is in laboratories. So like
so you're
my whole
working
life was
overtime at the
COVID.
moment, huh?
You but your whole life became that because you go to work and you talk about nothing but COVID and the pandemic and how all the testing or whatever, and then you come home and you talk about the other facets of the pandemic of everything being closed and people
Mm.
losing jobs. So yeah, it just kind of saturates your whole life. But I feel like at this point, it's just become the normal at the moment until we get back out of it. So I'm fairly resilient. I tend to adapt to whatever's. So at this, I mean, I feel like we've just kind of gotten used to it. It sucks,
Mhm.
but we've just kind of gotten used to the suck.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, I had some I called it COVID Corona blues because yeah, I was really, I'm also, I think I'm quite resilient, and I have my family and I have hobbies and I can still work. I didn't lost my job, and you didn't either. And your wife also not. So we are in the lucky position. We kind of can weather the storm easily,
For sure.
but still I was like, after kind of losing track of what day so I was like, it's kind of everything. I was in a bad spot, but this was luckily a few weeks ago, and now okay, we're not talking about me. Sorry, I'm stopping here, but I just come back from a little vacation because a friend
Right,
of
right.
mine, and so I'm fine now, and Germany is doing not so good, I have to say, because we're very slow. You Americans, you're faster with vaccination and all this stuff. Um, we are kind of lacking behind. We are organizational. Quite good, but we're over organized because we're thinking, okay, what to do with it? They have like plans and plans and plans, but the reality doesn't catch up. Sorry. So
Yeah.
let's stop this thing because it's not the most pleasant topic. Um, so,
But you asked about how
yeah.
how I found time
Oh
to
yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah. You can
and
answer
that
this
was
question.
so really all that trying to find time. It works because my wife and I have kind of opposing schedules.
Okay.
Um, so I find time where it's just me at the house, and the kid's already gone to bed for the night because he's got school, so I can sit and put headphones on and write
Hmm.
that way. Whereas um, I prefer not to if other people are around and awake because it's just a bunch of racket.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can see, and also I think you are, as you are a father as well, I I would feel bad, because I mean you have children to spend time with them. So you sometimes it happens, if you're really in German we say if a muse kisses you, if you really feel inspired, and you want to get something out, then I kind of shut out and I close my door even here. This is my home studio. Um, and then I just work on it, until it's out of my system, because
Yeah,
I guess you get this too. Because if you don't do it right away, it's gone. It's a poof, and But usually, if if my family is around and I have time, and now it's weekend, um, so I would spend time with my daughter and with my family and do this later. That's why I'm an early riser, as you've seen today. When I do the social media stuff and music and all these things, I do in the morning, and then my
right.
family wakes up and then I have breakfast and anyway. So you shouldn't talk about me, but um,
It
yeah.
brings funny stories though because the my wife just told me a story the other day about um, so I've recorded. I can't remember. I think it was maybe the first EP that I put out on Spotify. Um, I had recorded that, and just some of the timing of it. My son was actually, up, and I'd just be like, hey, I'm working on some stuff. Just watch your TV or play your Xbox or whatever you're doing. But he had told my wife, and I'd never heard this story until recently, but he had told her, like, I heard Dad last night. She's like, what do you mean? He's like, he was screaming in the bedroom because I'm recording I'm recording vocals. And
How old are your children?
my son's 9.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. So
Okay,
this
yeah.
was, and that was a couple years ago when that happened, but I had just heard the story, so it's
Hmm.
just funny to think of that. He's just like, yeah, Dad was screaming in the bedroom. I don't know what he was doing, but
Hmm.
yeah, I was recording vocals for a track.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking of my daughter's 8, so yeah, she's also oblivious to some of human interactions that can happen in the bedroom. So yeah.
Yeah,
So anyway,
not that kind of stuff.
uh, okay. Yeah. No. So you already alluded to it because you moved around a lot and with your service times and stuff, that is hard for you to have a real band. But from what I read from you is you usually, I mean, not right now, not in this pandemic, you get other people, friends, I guess, together to play live shows. So you did this in the past that you have your solo art work, but when you play live, you get other people together. Did you do that,
So
or did I misread it?
I mean, that's what I've done historically with any project. I usually, so I mean, my like musical idol of all time is Trent Reznor,
Hmm.
by far and away. Nine Inch Nails is my all-time favorite band. So I've always taken that approach where I kind of tend to do everything myself, uh, and then seek backup and assistance to help piece the rest together.
Hmm.
Um, Now with this stuff, I actually have not been able to perform any of this stuff live
Okay.
with any of the metal stuff. So that's just more kind of, I think that's on my bio, my website, that kind of information.
Hmm.
So that's just kind of how I operate in general. I tend to write and record by myself, and then get a group together that are interested in the process or the sound or whatever, and then we'll kind of flesh it out more, or they'll just back me up and learn the songs.
Okay.
But
So this is historically what you did with further with former projects.
yeah, with
So,
former
but it
projects,
hasn't happened yet with the Bedlam Battery. Are you planning on doing that, or is it
I don't know.
no?
The state that we're in right now,
Okay, not right now.
there's
That's for sure.
yeah, but sadly, it's tough out there to find the metal audience. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So there's not always that kind of audience that wants to hear that kind of music.
Really?
Um,
Okay.
yeah, at least in the locations that I've been the last couple of years. They're out there, they exist.
Hmm.
Um, but I also just don't have the time. We don't spend a lot of time going out to bars or venues or whatnot unless it's for a show.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I've kind of reserved myself to just releasing online, and I don't chase down a lot of the other opportunities
Hmm.
as much.
Okay.
And it's
Okay.
just so much damn work, man. You know how it is.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, of course. Yeah. No, I understand. I just wanted to know because it's I don't know how you feel about it, but I mean, making music is fun. The cool thing with music is there is no right or wrong. It's just whatever you like. It's you can run in every direction. It's freedom. This is one little things of freedom we still have where you can do whatever you feel like. Um, but of course, making music is one thing, but also presenting it to an audience and the rush and the adrenaline and I guess you have you stood on stages, so you know what I'm talking about. It's
yeah,
for a lot of artists, this is kind of a driving force to get it in front of an audience and to hopefully not get booed, but get
Right.
cheered and stuff. So this is a driving force. I of course talk also with artists who just want to record and never want to go out anywhere. Um, but for me, this is also like a. It's not the most important thing, First of all, you have to enjoy it. But if you enjoy it, and you said, you have it seems like quite a following for. We're going to talk about this maybe in a moment for not so much marketing you do or can do even in your position. Um, Anyway, so there's no to stop this. There is no plan for it, and I can understand it because it's you have to organize things and get a drummer and get all this, and people need to practice, and
Yeah.
you need to find these people. Um, so how's your not right now? In the pandemic, it's different, of course. But how's your local music scene usually?
I don't know. We've only been
Ah,
in the area that we're in about 6 months.
okay, yeah, of course, yeah. You're moving.
Yeah,
You're making it tough for yourself, I guess.
I
But
know, right? The other thing is that you do miss that because it's fun. If nothing else, you miss just playing with other people, because that's fun. And I do struggle sometimes. Being that one man project is rough because you don't have the feedback mechanisms in place to really flesh out ideas. Like, I want to do this. What do you think?
hmm hmm
That the songwriting process is so much stronger, or can be so much stronger with other people, because that's where the ideas, just kind of
Yep,
blossom. But so
exactly. You
that's
just
rough.
put in a riff, and when the drummer plays something, and then it kind of spirals out by itself.
Yeah.
To quote Trent Reznor, it's not a downward spiral; it's an upward spiral.
Yeah.
um, so yeah, see, this is a good question because how do you decide when a song is finished? Because like you just said, with the band, you kind of have okay, I play this and I play that, and then it kind of the there is a natural way that a song ends, or it kind of is becomes static. That it's like this is the way it is. It's a snapshot of it. How we play it now. It can of course morph into something else later on when you play it live and you add things and stuff. So how do you as a solo artist decide when a song is finished? Because as we talked in the beginning, you can always switch it and put in something else, and it's really hard to find an end
Right.
to a song. How do you go about it?
So I tend to write a lot. I start with the guitar riff 99.9% of the time. And I'll just kick on a looper. I write with a loop station through
Hmm
an amp, usually just playing whatever, and I'll come up with something that I like. And then I'll loop that and see if I have other ideas to put over it. And it'll get to a point where I'll kind of like lay down almost an entire song on a loop station and go back over and do leads. And once I have that kind of idea in my head, then I'll start, actually laying down tracks in a DAW and recording.
hmm
And and then I tend to piece it together based on how it was written, when I'm just playing. And I'll piece it together, add other elements. I do it to a click track, and then I go back and program drums um, after the fact. And then it's just that process of just listening. You listen through the whole thing and see what you don't like, and then
hmm
go back and re-record other parts or add parts.
Yeah,
Um,
but this, you make it sound easy, but this is the hard part because it's kind of
yeah,
like you can go on forever. You can work on one song for your whole life, basically, because you can always, well, and you get a new idea, and you how. My question is maybe more specific. How do you get to the point to say, okay, that's it, that's the best I want to do at the moment, and I'll leave it for this? Do you kind of when do you freeze a song in time? Because for me, a song is always just a snapshot of a things you want to do right now, and the abilities you have. Because I guess you learn also new things, and when you listen to your older stuff and I could have done here whatever. There's always possibilities. So how do you get to the point when I say, okay, stop? That's the song I want to do right now.
I think it's probably just feeling, honestly, just
Mm.
how you as the writer feel about it. So
Okay.
I think that songs are out there to spur on emotion or a response to your listener, or you're writing something that you want to hear.
Hmm.
I do that a lot. I hear a song in my head. I write this song because I want to hear it. But so really, I think most times once I have a rough idea of a song, then I think, okay, what's this going to be about, or what was I thinking when I was writing this, or whatever. And
Hmm.
once I have that idea, I'll kind of flesh it out and see what the overall image is, or the overall message is, or whatever,
Okay.
and just kind of start to tweak that until I can listen to it for 2, 3, 4 minutes, however long the song is, and feel like, okay, that's the response or that's the end result
Hmm.
that I envisioned. Or by the time it gets to the end of the song, I feel it's concluded, or that kind
Okay.
of thing.
Okay. Okay.
Does that make
So
sense?
yeah, I mean, it sounds like you are, and that's a good thing. You are quite confident of, you kind of have a clear vision where you want to go, and you,
Sometimes.
when you, okay, yeah, because yeah, take it. This is the fun part too, that you just start somewhere, and you maybe have an idea in your head, and then you come out completely at a different end. But that's fun too.
Absolutely.
It's okay. And then you let it lie for a moment, like a few weeks, and then do it, because the other issue you have when you are a solo artist is that you're oversaturated with your own sounds, and then you lose your ability to really um, you see uh, the forest but not the trees anymore, or vice
Yeah.
versa. You kind of get too much of it. You cannot really. You need a new set of ears, a fresh set of ears. Do you let it? Show it to your wife or something? Or how do you? Or are you so confident? And that would be a good thing. That you say, okay, that's it, and you mix and master yourself, right?
Yeah.
So, do you let it lie for a moment, or do you go through until the real end of a song?
So usually I'll get a rough draft. My wife is a good sounding board. She'll listen to projects as I go through them. Um, Also, not working whenever, uh, because I'm very much, if I lived here by myself, I would
Hmm.
just focus on that and work on it every day. I
Hmm.
would just get absorbed by it, and that's probably not good, because
Obsessed
yeah,
is another word.
you're not giving your ears that break,
Hmm.
and you get used to the sounds you're hearing, and you can't hear the things that are wrong. Um, so if my wife has a few days that she's not working, I don't really tend to work on music that much. Occasionally, if she's reading a book or something, I'll go, hey, I'm going to go mix a little bit or whatever, but usually not. And that gives you a couple days to think about it, and
Hmm.
then go back and hear it again. And then I'll use some mastering services that are out there. So I'll upload a track and get like an analog master from
Hmm.
a web service, um, and then I'll put that on my phone and like listen to it on the way to work and be like, well, that's wrong, that's wrong.
Okay.
I want to rewrite that. That's kind of my editing process. And then as it starts to come together more, I've got some friends that are still active in the music scene, and some friends that were, successful musicians, touring musicians.
Hmm.
And I'll bounce ideas off of them, like, hey, this is something I'm working on. What do you think? Send them a little snippet of it.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
get some feedback that way, and then I'll just go back to work. And then you get that thing where I'm sure you've had it, where you're writing a song, and you've been working on it all night, and by the time you go to bed, the song's just playing in your head,
Yeah, yeah, I know,
and
I
then
know.
you'll start crafting other parts. You're like, oh, I need to add this in tomorrow.
Uh, the worst thing, and we can talk about this from your perspective. The worst thing what happened to me once was I was so in the zone, I call it. I was so in it that I finished a whole song, and then I had the melody for the singing in for the vocals in my head, but I didn't had any lyrics, so I just made up mumbling lyrics and put the song. And the problem was I never got into this feeling again. So the song got stuck with mumbling lyrics that doesn't have any sense. So I kind of have to kind of have to listen to it and kind of make some words out of whatever I was mumbling then, and to give it a
Right.
coherent structure. So. Um, yeah, so it was it's still a great song, but it's really stupid. I got carried away. So, but back to you. Lyrics. That's another thing. You try different techniques with singing and shouting, and like you just said, your child heard you screaming in your bedroom. So. And when I look through your titles, let me just go. You have The Kraken and Everything in Time, Dark Sky, Broken Sail, Capulet, Even Hope. Even Hope, I think this was the first one I heard from you.
Mm.
Maelstrom. So what's inspiration? You already said you're going to Comic Con, so I think there's a you know there's some things you can draw. What's your lyrics usually about, and how do you write them?
So the Lost North EP was actually it, I didn't know what I was setting out to make when I started making it.
Hmm.
Um, Dark Sky, Broken Sail was the first song that was written for that album, and it ended up just it became this song about a dude that's lost at sea.
Hmm.
Is kind of what it ended up becoming about. So from that point onward, the album kind of just turned into this concept album of, and you can use it allegorically as lost at sea, lost in your
Hmm.
troubles or whatever. But
Yeah.
so it starts with Dark Sky, Broken Sail, and it's just the lyrical content was just all right. Let me tell this story about a guy whose ship is going down, and but he doesn't want to give up, kind of thing.
Hmm.
So that's what the lyrics to that were about. And then the Maelstrom, the middle track on that EP, is probably the next problem he has. So it's now storm's coming. Um, and then the ending track was the Kraken, which is okay. Now you've got this actual big problem ahead of you, this big beast. What are you going to do about it? Kind of thing.
Hmm.
So it's actually, when you put it, I find it easier to write because I tend to not like want to bleed real problems out onto the page.
Hmm.
I just think, all right, how do I express feeling as a story? Um, so I tend to write a lot that way, where
Hmm.
they're not necessarily about me or anything like that. I'm just like, all right, what's a thought?
Hmm.
And how do I tell a story that way?
I think I get it. It's for me personally, it's kind of but I like punk music and I like punk rock, but what I
Yeah.
don't like with punk rock is the lyrics are too specific. It's this is black and this is white. There is no gray. There is no think. That you cannot think for yourself. You get hit over the head with a message. Basically, that's mostly punk. Um, so I completely are with you that it's kind of you kind of shroud it a little bit in mystery, and because these lyrics are then more appealing to a larger crowd. I mean, we already established. You don't have to play to a big, or you just do what you want to do. But I also find it's more appealing when you don't tell me exactly what it is. That
Right.
it's something else for everyone. So you can find it. Um, yeah, so I'm with you. This is the best lyrics. I think that everyone can interpret them in their own way and can find something at their own situations at this moment. So because then these lyrics can evolve. If you tell me too specific, this is the problem and this kind of is the solution, then it can, it's punk, and then it's stuck in time, basically.
Right.
Well, it's too rigid. Um, you said earlier that you have kind of successful musicians and stuff, and I'm just like, how do you define success? You know, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking because you are, in my regard, you are also successful. You know, you have, um, loyal followers, and you have, you do what you want to do. So this
Right.
is a success in itself. You know, that you're not bound by any label or big corporation who tells you exactly what you need to do and how you need to do it. The freedom is a successful thing as well. So how do you yourself define success? And when I have a segue question, how do you? Okay, let's start with this.
Right. I mean, I'm just happy to put out. I think, I mean, success is if you setting out a goal and then doing whatever you can, even if you don't meet the goal,
Hmm.
just doing whatever you can to try to meet the goal. And if you meet the goal, that's even a higher level of success. But I
Hmm.
think that's how I would define success, is just throwing everything you have at something to try to meet the intent of whatever your end result is, you know.
Hmm.
Um, and then the prize is, if you get to the end result, then hey, you did it. And
Hmm.
if you don't, then you did everything you could to try to get there. Either way is successful to me.
Yep.
But those examples, I mean, like the guys I was talking about are folks that were like, you know, on Warp Tour, and like people that actually have toured the world, like these recognizable kind of things, like, and that's in the musician world or
Hmm.
acting or
Yeah.
whatever. You know, if you're famous, you're successful. That's what
Yeah.
I
Yep.
meant that way,
Okay. Yeah.
that kind of success. I'm fine with what I have. You know, I feel it's a success to even get a song out, because you
Hmm.
created it, you finished it, and you put it out. And whether people like it or not, that was your vision, that was your intent, and you put it out there into the world.
Hmm.
And if nobody else listens to it, I'll put it on Spotify and I'll listen to it and be like, yeah, I made that. That's cool. I'm happy with it.
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah. This is how I see it as well. You know, the way is the goal. Sometimes, you know, that's the journey you take, and of course, successful is nice, but I talk with a lot of people, and s- some, for everyone success is something different. It seems to
Right.
me, but yeah, I get what you mean. If you have toured, and if you kind of, we played with this bands and stuff. And by the way, that's another question I could ask you, is did you play with any notable bands? You know, you have any stories from pre-pandemic times when you were on the road or on the stage? Do you have any nice, juicy PG-13 stories you can share?
No,
No.
I was a gutter rat, man. I played the bars and,
Okay.
you know, that kind of stuff. So I, you know, toured locally, local states, and you'd play a festival every now and then, like a fair or something.
Mhm. Okay.
And I mean, the biggest crowd I ever played to in any band, whether it was a punk band or a solo gig doing acoustic stuff or whatever, would probably be, you know, 1,000 people
Oh,
max,
but 1,000
kind of
people
thing.
is quite a large crowd already.
Right. But they weren't there for me. They just happened to be there.
We yeah, okay. We
Because
couldn't
the
run away
lineup,
fast enough.
I was just in the middle of the lineup.
I
They
see,
were
I
waiting
see.
for somebody else.
I see. So any if you want to share any big names you shared the stage with, or like you just said, we were not waiting for you, but any starstruck moment maybe, as you were on stage, any something like this happen? I mean, we talked about the starstruck moments you get from your Comic Con, but on stage.
No, I haven't been lucky enough, honestly. You know, most of the guys that I tended to play with were just other bands that I usually knew, or you know, if we were on a festival lineup,
Hmm.
or like a fair, like this is a local festival, nothing big. You know, it's all local bands that you tend to know anyway. Um, yeah, I can't think of anybody that I ever was on stage or on tour with or anything like that.
Okay.
You know, I've
So
got some friends that have been on some big ones, but nothing for myself.
no juicy
I always
stories.
no. I was always a guy that had I wanted to be doing too much. So
Hmm.
I played music a lot, you know, almost full time, and then I was a rock climbing instructor and I worked ski patrol. So I had these other seasonal jobs. Like in the
Wow.
spring, I'd be doing rock climbing stuff, and in the winter, I'd be doing ski patrol or teaching ski lessons, depending on what they needed that year. Um, and then just out there messing around. So like, yeah, I should have. Looking back on it, maybe if I chased down music a little harder, these
Hmm.
guys that are successful, or these are guys that get out on the road and live in a van for 10
Hmm.
months. It's hard. You got to put that work in to get the success.
Yep.
And I
Yep.
just never did that piece.
Hmm. But I'm not. Yeah, I hear you, and I remember, I'm a little bit older, and I remember as Rammstein was starting out here in Germany, and they are now, a world famous band, um,
Yeah.
and they kind of took every gig they got, and I mean, it needs a lot of determination to do that, and as you know now, life gets in the way, and you have other responsibilities, so I'm. I guess there's a window of time for everyone for to do this and to chase after it, but on the other hand, I think we're living in a very good time for doing what you're just doing, doing your music and you're putting it out. And I saw on your I usually Spotify is my starting point, and I saw you get listened in Frankfurt a lot, in Germany. So that's the cool stuff of today. That you put it out to the world and the world can find it, and in the past it was really you needed to tour and you needed to
Oh
be
yeah.
there, you needed to be in the face of the people, and what's this band, I never heard of it, and and today you cannot say I never heard of it, it's just Google it, or just check it
Yeah.
out, check the Bandcamp page or whatever. um, and so this, as a radio DJ, this is its benefits and its upsides. It's a double-edged sword, basically.
Right.
For one thing, everyone can do it, and it's cool, and you don't have the restraints. You got your budget, and you can put out songs in a way you want and exactly how you want it. Like um, a film regisseur, editor, director, it's the right word, who makes the movie exactly he wants it without meddling from any labels or studios or whatever. That's really cool. On the
Yeah.
other hand, what's really bad for me as a radio DJ, everyone can do it,
Yeah.
and not everyone has the same approach to, we talked about production value. That's one thing, but people put together things on their phones and just send it to whoever is unlucky enough to listen to it, and they don't have any filter. Like I ask you, how do you decide to get a song where the song is finished or something? Um, yeah, and this is the downside of it. The benefit is everyone can do it. It's a
Yeah.
liberalization. Everyone has the same tools or ability. No, not everyone has the same abilities. That's the problem. Not everyone has the same abilities, and the checks and balances in his head or her head. Um, anyway, so that's the cool stuff. We are approaching slowly an hour, and you said you have like an hour. I have a few more questions. If you have the
Sure.
time, just let me know when you need to go. That's fine with me because I heard my family is up already, so I can have breakfast as well. So one question I have is, I have to admit I didn't really check this thoroughly, so I might be wrong here. You said you have a background also in videos, editing and stuff. So did you do any videos for the Bedlam Battery? Because I haven't found any, but I might have not checked thoroughly enough.
No, so there's actually not. There is a video. So the new single that's coming will have a lyric video coming as well.
Okay.
However, I didn't do that myself. I outsourced it to a video editor. So
Okay.
actually, I have a guy from Switzerland that I have putting it together as we speak.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
Cool.
he sent me. He actually sent me a draft today. So the intent is on the 9th, on April 9th, when the single goes live. The video, I'll upload the video to YouTube as well.
I see. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So just give me give me a heads up so I can check it, and I have a little playlist on YouTube as well, so I can put it there as well. So the other thing is, and of course I know a little bit what you do because we met on Submit Hub. So what kind of promotion do you do for your music? So yeah, go ahead.
So I mean, I don't do a lot. That's the thing that is a struggle about being the independent, artist or whatever is, you don't have that big machine behind you throwing money
Mm-hmm.
at. It costs to advertise and whatnot. So, occasionally I'll do an ad on Instagram or Facebook with a soundbite or whatnot. Just try to get people, maybe you'll get that one random person scrolling through that's like, oh, I like the sound of that. And that's a click. And then Submit Hub, it's tools like that where you can get bloggers or people interested. And beyond that, a lot of it, I've been lucky enough that a lot of it happens kind of organically or through those things. Either people
Mm-hmm.
hear it on these playlists or playlists like yours, and then it kind of gets added to other playlists.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of keep a pretty standard listening audience where it'll fluctuate anywhere between 1,000 to 3,000 streams a month.
Okay, that's quite good actually.
And it kind of goes up and down.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I'm out there. The Spotify for Artists app will tell you some playlists that you're on, but private playlists won't really tell you. So I don't know where a lot of it comes from, but it is pretty broad spread. Oddly enough, the most streams I had in 2020 came out of Spain.
Oh, okay.
When you get your artists, you're wrapped for the year, and it tells you
Mm-hmm.
where all your plays came from. Spain listened to the music the most, and I was like, well, that's weird.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't advertise in Spain that I know of, but
Yeah,
you put
this
stuff
is
in the world and it just goes out there. It's pretty wild.
this is what I meant. That's the good thing today. You can be discovered. The issue otherwise is, there's so many other out there that you can get buried easily.
Absolutely.
So. By the way, I haven't asked you this. Yeah, who's doing your cover artwork?
So for which piece specifically?
Oh, so okay, you outsource this as well, I guess.
Some of them I do myself.
Okay. Oh yeah, of course. You're a virtual, not a virtual. You're a visual artist. I wanted to say, the
The
Bedlam
the,
Battery. Um,
the Lost North EP
hmm,
cover art, I did that myself. That was just some graphic design. The Telltale Hearts EP cover was a outsourced piece.
mm-hmm.
Um, and then the new EP cover is actually part of a design by an artist named Dead Creepy. James Devlin is his name.
Okay.
Instagram handle is Dead Creepy, and he's a kind of a renowned graphic artist. Been in the game a long time. Working on a lot of T-shirts and stuff like that for, any kind of punk, hardcore, metal band, you name it, he's probably drawn a shirt for him. So all
Okay.
of my T-shirts, if you go to my website, all the T-shirts on there, they're all James Devlin artwork designs. And he hooks me up and does some really fantastic artwork. I've got a really killer T-shirt coming out for the new single.
Okay. Cool.
I
Cool.
think I might be more excited about the T-shirt than the song.
Okay. Put your priorities straight, I would
Right.
say. No, but it's fine. See, that's the cool stuff. When you do it, independently, you still get excited. It's not that's as you said earlier, as we talked about success and the other people who made it and stuff. Sometimes I wonder a little bit if it would be really so much fun if you would do it as a profession, because as
Maybe
cool
not.
as it would be, it's kind of like, you have a lot of good parts of it, of course, being on tour or whatever, but as you know yourself, being on stage is like, an hour, and but when there is all this ramp up, going there and doing this and meet and greet and whatever. I have a kind of very successful metal band close by, and I talked with them, and they said we really hate it because now we're headliners and we have to wait sometimes we play at 3 o'clock. I mean, pre-pandemic times, of course, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then we cannot drink until then because we're
Yeah, yeah,
backstage and everything is there, but we are not because So, I mean, this is a luxury problem, of course, and I don't want to
right.
say, but um, yeah, I'm not really sure. Um, Okay, so I have one thing from me. Sorry that I'm talking so much about me, but just recently, um, I did acting as I was younger, and I was in an acting class and stuff. And when I usually don't watch TV, but as I was on vacation, I turned on the TV and there was a documentation on, and we enacted a few scenes. And oh, I know this guy. I acted with him, so I found it was really cool. But I saw one, but I'm not really sure I really would have liked to do it because, you know, um, like with music, with acting, it's kind of like if you're doing it as a hobby, you can play as much as you want, and you kind of choose the roles you want to do. And if
Right.
you are in a theater, and when the director says, "Okay, we're gonna do this, and you're gonna play that," and I'm not really sure. I think if you get it to a certain level, then it's fun again because then you can choose. But the way up till then, and the vast majority of people, like back to
Yeah.
music, is kind of like, um, I don't know. I
being
think.
a being a working musician or a working actor, just having to do it to eat, that's
Hmm.
probably exhausting. And I know people that have done that for years, and it's rough.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure if I want to do it because it kind of um, degrades the how you say the enchantment or the beauty of it, or the you know the creativity, so you do it like a job, like a carpenter, but uh, you know how to build a cabinet. But if you really want to be artistic and something, when you build the cabinet, and you make
Right.
it special, and you put in I don't know, a trapdoor or whatever, you get my gist. And I don't know if I would be so excited or so happy. That's why we are coming back to your T-shirt. You're happy about your T-shirt and stuff, and it's cool. And I guess all the big guys, we would be happy about the T-shirt too. But then for them it's and then the next thing, and then the next thing, and kind of. Um, I like it in a certain way. I like it to have this independent thing because, like with you, now I'm talking with you, and I'm really happy that you have a time for me, and we just chat. And a lot of people told me, Tobias, this is a really stupid idea. You need to have little sound bites, and you can put it in your radio show, and you can do. And I'm like, I'm not interested in little sound bites because everyone does it. And I want to do my thing. I want to get to know the person behind the music, and I just want to chat and see, who the person ticks and stuff. And
Right.
sometimes this doesn't work. I talked with persons who are like, "So you do music?" Yes. You do a lot of music? Yes. Sometimes it doesn't work at all. Um, but that's the fun for me as well, to just get to know people. I would usually not find, or and see, we're back to technology, and you are now in the United States and I'm in Germany, and we can talk, and that's really cool. um,
Yeah.
Sorry, let's talk about you. I had a few more questions. Uh, let me or hit this. Okay,
Can you hang on just 1 second?
yeah, just 1 second. No, go, just go.
Maybe 5 minutes.
Okay, so I will just bridge the gap a little bit, and go through his catalog and show you do the the artwork. Can I make this a little bit bigger? Let's see. Here, so everything in time, the Bedlam Battery.
Sorry, I heard the dog going crazy, so I was making sure there wasn't anything going on out there.
Okay, no problem. Um, I'm actually through with my questions. Sorry, I thought I had some more, but we talked about the performance parts of already.
Okay.
Um, So, if you want, you can have a nice closing statement for the audience, for the people who hopefully gonna listen to this and gonna find it. Um, Anything you wanna share with the world, with the audience?
Did you want to talk about the single that's coming?
Of course, just say about talk about the single that's coming.
Okay. So this song, there's another one that started life as something, or it became something other than what I thought it was going to become. So I started kind of writing this riff with a lot of modulation on it and whatnot. It sounded like this Adam Jones Tool kind of riff is what it
Okay.
was, which isn't something that I typically write. Um, but I started out with that, and then it just ended up morphing back into a melodic driven metal song. But um, the song it's called Unburnt,
Mm-hmm.
and it is lyrically kind of a song about those people out there in the world that want to tell you what to do and what's right for you, and that oppressive, narrow-minded attitude kind of thing. So the song is kind of framed through a witch's eyes, like
Okay.
Salem witch trials kind of idea. And that's what the song's about. It kind of takes on that kind of mentality, uh, and then the artwork and the kind of the shirt that's coming out with it and whatnot is literally a witch on a stake, with the words "Don't break" next to her.
Okay.
So just encouraging people, don't let anybody tell you what's right for you,
Mm-hmm.
uh, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's okay. So I'm getting to the next thing, but sometimes I feel, but the there's a double-edged sword again. Um, Today we have so much information and we can learn about everything. There's a YouTube tutorial for whatever you want to find, but for some reason I also have a feeling that people get dumber a little bit. That people are not using their capacities for the fullest. So that they take easy answers and stuff, and everyone should know that there is no real black and white answers, like politicians who give you like, okay, this is the right thing to do, and this is only, it's kind of course, sometimes you have to have drastic measures, like in this pandemic or something, and this is the right thing to do, and everyone suffers a little bit, or more or less. Um, but but it's kind of, I have a feeling with all this information, we don't do as much as we could, anyway, so this is completely off topic, but yeah, with Don't Break, um, I kind of had the thing, and start to think for yourself, or and see, uh, ask questions and stuff. I don't want to, this conspiracy theory or something. But sometimes the conspiracy theories are so strong because there is really something else behind it. I don't think, when, okay, sorry, let's get completely off topic, and I know we should be a little bit careful with you, but anyway, sorry, I kind of derailed your ending here. Or how can I bring it back to a nice ending point? Uh, Please send me the song once it come out so I can put it in my playlist, and do
Okay.
my little part of a promotion. And if you want, you can send me an MP3, and I can put it also in my radio show, of course.
Okay.
We're getting bigger in the radio show as well, so don't
That's cool.
discount this. We are big in Russia.
If one
So
person listens, man, that's one listener you didn't have, right?
exactly,
So yeah.
exactly. It's and I guess you agree here with, it's kind of doing it, not what's the right word for it, continuously. Just staying with it, and do,
Yeah.
you slowly get bigger, and whatever, and you grow an audience, and um, as long as you love what you're doing, that's the fun for me personally, with my talk show and all this stuff. it's kind of like a game. I want to see how many people I can get and how many people watch, and I always get a little bit up and a little bit down, but the trajectory is always going up, and that's cool, and that's fun.
This one's, I just for a little bit of diversity and marketability, I did master this one in a slightly different way, so it's not as raw. It's still raw. It still sounds the exact way I want it to sound,
Hmm.
but I changed up some compression. I gave it a little bit wider of a stereo sound,
You're
and made it
such a sellout.
just made it just a little bit more marketable, but not
Hmm.
a lot. So maybe it's easier to fit into a playlist that way
Hmm.
if it
I
sounds
see.
at least, yeah.
Yeah, no, no. This is, I told you my take on it. I got it. No, no, I did. No, I have to be honest. I didn't got it. But after we talked, I got it, and I was really stunned by this that you kind of put it out on purposely in this mixing you did. Um, yeah, I really, for me it was a kind of a waking point, kind of that you know. Yeah, uh, to listen to the song and not only the production, but sometimes, yeah, if the production is too bad, and I'm talking about the people who do it on their phones and don't really think about it and just throw it out and stuff, or anyway, okay,
It's
I,
funny
I
because
will.
people would hear it like people that you pitch it to or whatever, or submit hub folks or whatnot, and that's feedback that they give. They're like, well, it sounds really raw, and I'm like, I know, like that's
Yeah, I know, that's the point. That's the
what it's supposed
point.
to.
Hmm. Yeah, no, it's um, we get back to the success thing. As long as you are happy with it, it's fine. And this is the good thing today. If you like it, there is a chance out that somebody else will like it as well out there. You just have to find the people. And I guess you got a lot of rejection, but I'm quite happy that I kind of got past the production value and kind of like, oh, this song is so good, why didn't you do it? And then we started talking, and now we're here. So anyway, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it, because for you it was kind of more short notice. I got the date wrong, sorry for that.
No, it's
um,
fine.
yeah, please send me the new stuff, also the lyric video, because if I like it, I might put it in my discovery playlist on YouTube, which has no following at all. So don't expect anything from it. But anyway, so thank you for your time. Please keep on doing what you're doing, and I really appreciate your fresh take on maybe if anything that people can get from our talk is kind of do what you want to do, basically, and in a way you want it. If you're happy with it, there's millions of people out there, so you will find at least a few who will be happy with it as well, and
Yeah, for sure.
okay, so have a good evening. I will have breakfast now with my family. Thank you for your time, and talk to you soon.